Hello everyone. After many years of being missing, Hyan suddenly appeared at her son's house empty-handed, with a gaunt face and eyes filled with something unpredictable. The whole family was stunned for a moment, but then coldly turned away as if she had never existed. No one asked, no one came to greet her. The atmosphere was suffocatingly tense. Did Hyan really return because of maternal love? Or was she hiding some kind of plot? Her silence, along with everyone's eyes, signaled that a shocking secret was about to be exposed. A peaceful morning, the gentle sunlight covered the entire yard of Sinnhat. The air was fresh, only the sound of birds chirping and hurried footsteps preparing for the new day. The whole family hurriedly carried each bag of the first corn of the season out to the yard, spread it out on a tarp to dry, and prepared to store it for the livestock to eat gradually. Seeing his wife and mother bending over to scoop corn, Hang immediately took the bike to the gate and said hurriedly, "I'll go get the corn sheller, you and I will do it slowly." Having said that, he sped away in a thin cloud of dust. Only about half an hour later, Hang returned with an old but still working corn sheller. He carefully lifted the machine down, placed it neatly in place, and did not hesitate to roll up his sleeves to help his wife set it up. The sound of the machine running rang out, mixed with the crackling sound of dry corn cracking, which was pleasant to the ears. Although there was still much work to do, Hang could only stay for a short while. He took the opportunity to help his wife and mother carry a few more bags of corn, then quickly changed clothes to go to work. Before leaving, he did not forget to give a few instructions, his eyes full of responsibility and love. His figure gradually disappeared behind the trees, leaving the small house bathed in the early morning sunlight and the steady sound of the corn shelling machine. Life here continued like that, simple, but full of love, in every laugh, drop of sweat, and the enduring bond of a small family in the hometown. After Hang left, Sinnhat and his mother were still working hard at the corn shelling machine. In the early morning sun, sweat was dripping down their foreheads, but everyone was attentive, without a word of complaint. Next to him, Hang's own son Long also helped out. Although still young, Ben was very obedient and understanding, occasionally running to get bags or collecting corn to pour into the machine. Every time he was praised, he smiled broadly, his eyes sparkling. Under the warm morning sun, the atmosphere in Sinnhat's yard was bustling and warm. The hum of the machine mixed with the crackling sound of corn. It seemed like a peaceful morning, but a storm suddenly came. From the alley, a familiar figure suddenly appeared. It was Hyan Long's biological mother, the woman who had been missing for several months, without a word of greeting. As soon as he saw his mother, Long was stunned for a few seconds, then burst into tears, rushing to hug Hyan. "Mom, you're back." Hyan also burst into tears, hugging her child tightly, her voice trembling. "Mom is sorry. I miss you so much." The two of them hugged each other in the sunny yard, a scene that moved the hearts of anyone who witnessed it. But that moment did not last long. Sinnhat's mother, who was drying corn next to her, immediately dropped the shovel, stood up abruptly, her voice hissing through her teeth. "You still have the face to come back here? What are you doing here? Get out." Anger exploded like a fire, burning the silent atmosphere. Hyan still held her son tightly, but her eyes had begun to waver. Sinnhat stepped forward, standing next to her mother, her face expressionless but her eyes sharp. Without saying a word, she walked straight forward, gently but firmly removing Hyan's hand from Ben's body. The boy looked at both of them in confusion, tears welling up in his eyes. Sinnhat pulled Ben towards her, holding her son tightly in her arms. Her eyes were determined, cold as a knife's blade, not with hatred, but with protection. She didn't need to say anything, because her gaze was clear. She had no right to come back, no longer had a place in my son's life. Hyan was stunned. Sinnhat's mother gritted her teeth. "The last time I said, get out of this house." Hyan's eyes went wild. In front of her was the woman who had silently taken care of her son during the months she had left, a child who had now grown accustomed to the breath and arms of another mother. Sorrow welled up in the corners of her eyes, making her choke up. Sinnhat's biological mother did not let her say anything more. Her voice was as cold as a knife. "You have no right to be here. Go away. Don't make me do anything." Wien's whole body trembled slightly, but she still tried to swallow her tears. Her voice choked. I really didn't mean anything. I just came to visit Long for a bit. I didn't intend to fight for anything. Please." She bent down, gently hugging Long one last time. The boy was stunned, confused in his biological mother's arms, then looked back at sinnhat, the person who was always by his side when he was sick, hungry, sad, happy. Hyen hugged her child tightly, whispering a sentence in tears. "I'm sorry. Be good." She let Long go, her eyes filled with pain, then turned and walked away, her thin figure gradually shrinking in the bright sunlight. No more crying, no more begging, only the silent resignation of a mother who had made a mistake, lost everything including the right to hold her child every day. The yard was silent, only the sound of the corn sheller hummed like a lingering echo of a separation. Sinnhat hugged Ben tighter. In the silence, her hands trembled slightly, but her eyes remained unwavering. The storm had just passed and she was the one who had shielded her son from the wind. After Hyen left, the tense atmosphere gradually dissipated. Sinnhat's mother returned to work, quietly drying the corn bags. Sinnhat hugged Long tightly, comforting him with silent tenderness. A moment later, mother and son sat together by the corn sheller. The crackling sound echoed regularly. Life continued peaceful and simple as usual. I thought that after leaving Sinnhat's house, Hyen would stop, but no, that afternoon, she suddenly rushed straight into the office where Hang was working. Despite the security guard's attempts to stop her, she pushed the door open, her eyes red, her hair messy, her gaze burning. Hang raised her head, shocked. In front of him, Hyen stood panting, her face pale but her eyes full of determination. "Hyen, what the hell are you doing here?" Without a word of beating around the bush, Hyen went straight to the desk, her voice trembling but determined. "I want you to come back. I can't take it anymore. Come live with me. We still have a child together. I still love you." The atmosphere in the room was thick with tension. Hang's face darkened, her eyes narrowed as if she had just been deeply angered. "Are you crazy? This is a workplace, not a place for you to play tricks." He gritted his teeth, his voice lowered. Hyen was in tears, still not backing down. "I know I was wrong. It was my fault that I left, but I really regret it. I love you. I can't lose you again." Hang's eyes were on fire, shouting loudly, Get out of here. Don't make me have to ask security to drag you out like a vandal." The atmosphere seemed to explode. Hyen stood there, frozen, her whole body trembling. A second later, she burst into tears. In that moment, there was no longer any trace of a love affair, only the determination of a man who had chosen his family to the end. Seeing Hang firmly refuse, Hyen bit her lip, tried to stay calm and said, "If you can't forgive me then, can I meet your foster mother just once? I have something important to tell her." Hang looked at her warily. "What are you planning to do next?" "I just want to say one thing, before it's too late," Hyen replied, her eyes full of hidden meaning. At the prison, the already heavy atmosphere became even more tense. Hang's foster mother, an experienced woman with sharp eyes despite her old age, immediately glared at her when she saw her. Without waiting for Hyen to speak, she gritted her teeth, her voice cold. "You still dare to show your face here?" Before Hyen could react, she gritted her teeth and poured fire into her face. "I trusted you so much. I treated you like a child, brought you home, took care of every meal and sleep, signed the house transfer papers for you. And yet you're selling my house? What? Hyen panicked. Her two hands quickly grabbed the edge of the table, stammering, I didn't sell it. I was just threatening. I just wanted Hang to come back to me. I didn't mean it, uncle." Her face turned red with anger, her hand slammed down on Hang's desk. "You dare deny it? I heard Hang say it herself. You brought the papers to sign, you promised to pay the broker, you even called someone to come see the house. Do you think I'm stupid?" Hyen's face turned pale, tears started to flow. "I was wrong. I panicked. I just thought that if Hang thought I sold the house, he would come back. I didn't think things would turn out like this." "Didn't think?" she hissed, her voice trembling. "You sold my house, deceived my trust, and now you cry and beg for forgiveness? You didn't think, but you dared to do it. You stepped on everything just to bring Hang back." The atmosphere in the visiting room seemed to freeze for a moment after Hang's mother's rage. Hyen cried and sobbed, as if clinging to the last bit of hope. But it's not my fault alone. It was you. It was you who offered me the reward. You said, if I made Hang leave nhat and come back to me, you would give me that house. I was just doing what you said." The words were like a loud explosion that fell across the room. Hang's mother was stunned for a moment, then her eyes widened, her face pale with anger. She slammed her hand down on the table. You dare to bend the truth?" "I said, But I didn't say you were a fraud. I didn't say you sold my house. I was wrong to believe you, but you're the one without a conscience." At that moment, Hang slammed her hands on the table, her eyes blazing with anger. His voice roared, echoing throughout the room. "So, you two really planned to harm my wife? Why, Mom? And you, Hyan, why did you do such a dirty thing?" No one answered. The foster mother lowered her head, silent. Hyan trembled, her mouth stammering. "I just want you to come back. I can't stand seeing you with someone else." "Someone else?" Hang growled. "You call my wife someone else? The person who raised your child, took care of my mother, endured all the pain you left behind." He turned to his foster mother, his eyes red. "Mom, how could you stand by someone who destroyed my family? How could you join hands with her to get a hang like you wanted, while ignoring your pain, your wife's suffering?" "Hi ngibtu lane tingli cho now. Hi na I do mhgg trio thang. CNM and li ti hein lk dieter. Li dgl eng tin. Li qua ting li si eng lcc eng gay gt. Hgg chlang ngih nh mount y that vang. Rieng di kileng. Eng lc ting loa vang ln. Htgi them gp. An ri. K chieng ni them mount li. At home, after a hard-working morning, the three members of Sinnhat's family finished shelling the corn and went out to the garden to pick the ripe fruit to bring home. They kept some for themselves and took the rest to the market to sell for money to buy meat and oil. Long was very obedient, helping out while chatting away. Life was simple but full of laughter and happiness.